was probably 22 or 23 at the time. Just a kid from Texas, mesmerized by all the beauties of the city. And I remember sitting in City Hall Park, looking up at the building, being like, good God, what is that building? It's so beautiful.
So when I first came to New York City, I was 18 years old, and I toured New York everywhere. And one of the tours was the Woolworth building. And inside we went into the lobby, and it was absolutely jaw-dropping to see that much beauty in one space. One of the nicknames of the building has always been the Cathedral of Commerce, and it felt like that. It felt reverent.
I'm trying to figure out what building it was, and it was the Woolworth building. And then, of course, this avalanched into my lap of all the history of the building and just how important of a landmark it was for not only New York, but the world.
Frank Woolworth was essentially the Jeff Bezos of his time. So he was one of the original American entrepreneurs, a winner. And at the time in our history, one way to prove that you were a winner was to have a tall building.
It was a collaboration between Frank Woolworth and Cass Gilbert, sort of the architect of the day. They built it up to probably about where we are now in the building, 29 floors. And then there's a very famous correspondence between Frank Woolworth to Cass Gilbert and said, how high can we go?
And this building was at Frank Woolworth's mandate to go as high as it could go.
And it was that point in human history and in our country's history where we were very much building and proving ourselves. Frank Woolworth wanted to prove himself. Cass Gilbert wanted to prove himself. And this building is a direct result of that. So what you're sitting in now is, in fact, a trophy of sorts.
The excitement was palpable at the time. And one of the things that's very interesting about this building is that excitement never left the building.
You can feel as you walk through the building just how much love has gone into creating it, both in 1913 and more recently in 2012 to 2017, 2018, whenever Alchemy Properties and Terry Despont and all of the creative people that have put their blood, sweat, and tears into reimagining and giving this building a second life.
One of the things that Alchemy Properties can take great credit for is the care and authenticity and real appreciation for the meaning of the Woolworth building to the history of architecture. To not just cap or lightly repair some of these terracotta tiles, but they replaced and actually created thousands of new pieces of terracotta. That's why it's so magical. It's handcrafted, even now.
I remember reading in one of the real estate magazines that the building was purchased by Alchemy to develop the top half of the building as residences. Okay, interesting. Filed it away. Didn't think about it again. And then a year after that, our CEO of Sotheby's calls me. He's like, hey, we are thinking of doing this, and apparently I think they want you and Stan to do it. And I was like, what? So I just thought, okay, not only is there an opportunity ahead of me to work on one of my favorite buildings that has ever been built, but also to work on it with one of my closest friends.
The best way to think of the process here was we came in to a complete blank slate. So when Josh and I came to the building and went in for that final pitch up against the other major firms, we were able to see it in the best possible form for us to then suggest the floor plates, the floor plans, the mix of units, and to partner with Alchemy to come up with the best possible offering for the market.
So we were able to capitalize on that and look at it with fresh eyes and bring to them our findings. And that included a lot of changes, a lot of expensive changes that we thought would be met with a ton of resistance.
We wanted to succeed. We wanted our client to succeed. And the way to get to success was two main initiatives. One was to look at the finishes, which were beautifully done, I can't tell you, but they needed a little bit of a lightening up because we weren't just selling one, we were selling 32. So we had to look at where the market taste was at that moment. So what we needed was a look that straddled modern, classic, elegant, and timeless.
We went with them to help pick out the marbles and change the cabinetry and even change the appliance suite and things that I think real estate brokers don't get the opportunity to do. You know, we helped with all of it.
The other thing we did is we brought something that all good real estate brokers have innately, and that's our eye for floor plans. Floor plans are more important than ever in real estate. Everyone sees every property before they go see it on their phone, on whatever they're using, and without knowing it, they are gauging how that floor plan is laid out. And one of the design choices that had been made was that the living rooms were in the center of the floor plans in both cases. So we had an A and a B line, and we brought the great rooms to the corners, facing either north and east or north and west, rather than only facing one direction. We also moved one of the plumbed walls away from one of the bedroom adjoining walls so that you could open the third bedroom up to the great room and make an even larger flexible great room for a library with pocket doors. These two design choices made a splash when we released it. Everyone got excited.
And to our surprise, they basically did everything we recommended. And we could not be more proud of the results. We did not know how our colleagues were going to receive it, and we had a massive launch party for our first model apartment because, of course, the buzz at this point was palpable. We sold those two apartments right out of the hat. And the numbers that we got for those apartments was a huge success story for the building.
We brought it back to the market in this fresh look, and the market was so excited. The Woolworth building, like all great skyscrapers, has a crown. And this crown houses our Pinnacle penthouse, which is one of the most talked about and famous penthouses literally on the planet.
It is unlike anything else that I've ever been in my 22 years of doing this. And it's this gorgeous vertical castle in the top of the sky. For the most part, I would say, as all markets do, it's kind of like this. It's just been like this. And we've grown closer together with the developer. It's become kind of like a family at this point.
Josh and I, Sotheby's International Realty, activated our network all over the world. And we toured literally thousands of people, qualified brokers from every continent on the earth, representing ultra-high net worth buyers from all throughout our network, not just our real estate side, but our auction side as well. So the Sotheby's auction house was deeply involved in the marketing here.
I do think that the Sotheby's International Realty portion of this is a very important key. It is, without question, the most recognizable international luxury real estate brand. Well, Stan and I, anybody who knows us knows that we are very different people. We have different styles, we have different strengths. He likes to do one part of the business, I like to do other parts of the business. No one can do what Stan does better than Stan. It doesn't exist. He's the best at what he does. What we have is an incredible vocabulary and an incredible amount of experience behind us. Not just in the new development division, but we know what buyers want. And we're able to communicate that to people trying to sell apartments. And that's everything, because if you give someone what they want, they will pay for it.
People are always asking me, I want to go into real estate. How can I succeed? There's only one answer. You have to be your best self. I am the Stan Pontiest Stan Ponti there is. And Joshua Judge is the Joshua Judgiest Josh Judge that there is.